This is how you define a function with multiple or variable positional arguments and variable keyword arguments. So we have this function, def print backwards, that receives variable list of arguments and keyword arguments that does the following. If it receives an argument for the positional argument as an iterable or of type an iterable that we can iterate through. So if it receives, for example, a list as first parameter 1, 2, 3 containing the values 1, 2, 3, it will print it backward 3, 2, 1. This is if for the first argument. If it receives also another argument, a string, for example, hi, it will print it as a list, but it will print I and then it will print the age. So first it must test that each argument is an iterable and then iterate through it, and maybe we will see it will do another test. So this is for the arguments. Now for the keyword argument, it will do the following. It will not take, if it's keyword argument, it will have a key and a value. So it will not consider the key for our function. For this case, it can be different for any type of function. So for this case, it will consider only the value. It will take the value and work with it. If it's an iterable, it will do the same thing that it does for the first case or for the positional arguments. So just to clarify one thing, an iterable can be a sequence type like list, str, tuple, or non-sequence type like dictionary or file object. So all these elements are considered as iterable. So first we will check if an element is an iterable, then we will do a second check to check if an element is a dictionary, and I will explain why. Let's say that one of the arguments is a dictionary. So we have this dictionary. As we already see, a dictionary is not a sequence, but in a way we can print the dictionary backward if we had a dictionary defined this way. I have the first element A. Without saying that we are reversing any order, we just say that we are going to print it backwards as we defined it, or we gave it to the function in the first place. So we have A, the key A associated with 1 and the key B associated with 2. So before painting it, we are going to transform first a dictionary to a list of lists. Now we can say that we are going to reverse this list. So we have A equal A. The first element will be the key, the second element will be the value. Key, value, key, value. Now that we have a list, we can actually say that we are going to reverse the list and print it that way. We are going to print the list B2 and then A1. So this is why, after testing that if an element is an iterable, is instance of iterable, we will test if an element is instance of a dict. Since I don't know the list of my arguments, I will start by looping through this list of arguments. For each element in args, I will test first if that element is an iterable. If it's a string, or if it's a file, or if it's a dictionary. If it's the case, I will test second time if it's a dictionary, so I can create my key value lists. So to create that list, I'm using this list comprehension created by this two element key value extracted from the zip element.keys and element.value. So I combine the element.keys and each element from the keys and with each element from the values to create my items of this new list. Then for all the cases, which means for all the iterable, I will iterate to the values and I will insert them backward to a list initialized with an empty list. For example, so it starts by values equal to an empty list, and then I pass it one of the elements. Let's say the first element from args, it's a list that we talked about earlier, containing these 3 values, 1, 2, 3. So what we are going to do is that we are going to loop it to this list, this element. For each element, we are going to insert it to this new created list of values. So for example, for each first element, for each element E from the list, I'm going to call insert, and I will insert it to position 0, so I will have values at first equal to 1. Then for the second element, I will do the same. I will have values equal to 1. The same thing, I will continue. For the third element, I will have values equal to 3, 2, 1. So this is my new list of values created. Then what I will do, I will just print it. In the other case, if I don't have an iterable, what I will do, I will simply print that message saying the element that you are providing is not an iterable. Now consider the second case, when I will have keywords arguments. Let's say I have the first argument a, I gave to the function a equal, and I gave it a value 5. The same thing you do when you create widgets, for example, Tikita widgets. You specify the arguments you want to define, and then you give it a value. The thing is that argument is a keyword argument. The same thing here, I gave a 5, another argument, for example, value. I will give it a list 601. So I have 2 keywords arguments. So instead of considering the keys, I will consider only the values and disregard their keys. So I will loop through this keyword argument values and not keys. This is why I do this for elements in keyword args.values. What I will do, I will do the same thing I did. So we will have the same code here. I will test if it's an instance of an iterable. If it's the case, I will test if it's a dictionary. If it's the case, I'll create my fabricated list. I'll create my dictionary list of key values. Then I will look through each element from the any type of list of values. I will insert them to a list and then print my list if it's not an iterable. If the value like here a equal to 5 is not an iterable, it will print me the message 0, the value 5 is not an iterable. Or if I have this value 601, it will print 106. To test our code, we are going to call our function print backward with this list of arguments. The first argument will be 5, the second is string containing just 6, a list of the values 3, 2, 3, 4, a dictionary with the key values A1, B2, a set initialized with this list of 2, 3, and a text file. As we said, the file is an iterable, so we are going to open a text file in read mode with UTF encoding. In the next video, we are going to talk about text files and how to open them or how to create them. In fact, we just created one by calling open. And the text file is containing first phrase and second phrase in the file, these lines, and it's in the current directory, so all we have to specify is just its name, since we defined or used a relative path for defining our files. For the list of keyword arguments, we give to the function the first keyword argument a, we initialize it with string, and the second keyword argument b, we gave it the value 5. So now we are going to call our function and see what will happen. So to run our code, we will simply type Python and Python.py. So first it said that 5 is not an iterable. It printed 6 as a list. It contains one element. There's no obvious backwarding or reversing. I have a list with 2, 3, 4. The corresponding backward printed list is 42. My keywords values 32, A1, and the set 23, 32. It's a set, but we converted to a list, so we have sort of an order. Then the files, it created this list again. So we don't have things, we have a list of things. The first thing, second phrase in the file. It started with the second phrase, then it printed the first phrase in the file. For the second keyword argument, we have our list, our string printed as a list in backwards. We have this string printed backward but as a list, and finally the last value 5 is not an iterable. We can see here that when we printed is not an iterable for the values case, we changed the printing. It's different from the printing here. We didn't add the stars for the printing. It just doesn't change the. This is why it didn't print the stars. Now, if we don't provide value, let's see what will happen. If we don't provide value and call the function, it's nothing because we iterated through an empty list. So we didn't iterate through nothing. We had an empty list and we didn't consider it did nothing. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.